Hey everybody, welcome back to L&B Outdoors. We purchased this TO30 off of Facebook Marketplace. Was it a bust or was it a good deal? Y'all stay tuned and find out. So the backstory on this tractor is I have a buddy named Garrett, and he has a YouTube channel named Misfit Moto. If y'all haven't seen that, y'all go check that out. It's pretty cool. They take side by side and go mudding and do different things with lift kits and different fabrications and upgrades. So if y'all are into that, go check his channel out, Misfit Moto on YouTube. So he hit me up and says, hey, I found a tractor on Facebook Marketplace. And I said, really? I haven't seen it. And so of course it was on a site that I wasn't a member of or joined, so I had to join. Finally found it, messaged the folks, and of course now it's sitting in my yard. And I got a really good deal on it. And looking at it, it is a Ferguson TO30. I think they made these from 51 to 54. The VIN on it is kind of hard to read. You almost can't even see any of the numbers anymore. So, you know, roll the dice, throw a number out there, but it's going to be in anywhere in them year ranges. The people bought a starter and never put it on. Now, if you remember back in the last episode, we tried it. We put a battery on it just to see if it'd spin over and see what the starter would do. And the starter was it was like dragging. It would drag a lot. It wouldn't spin it up the way it should spin up. So in the off time, I did put the new starter on it that came with it and took the gas tank off, as you can tell. You know, your fuel system's the biggest thing you're going to have to kind of clean. And I pulled the carburetor off. So that's as far as I've got. You know, I still ain't tried to crank this yet. I'm anxious to see if it's going to run. I hope so. I hope it's not a bust. I hope it's a good deal. Now, I do know that we're going to have to get us a new exhaust manifold. It's broke right here. I've got it just held up with a clamp right now. And hopefully, if it does run, if there's not many problems with it, you know, I'll break down and get a exhaust manifold. You can find them on the internet now, anywhere from about $180 to $220 for a Ferguson. The TO20 and the TO30 are pretty much the same thing on that. So we're going to try to put water in the radiator, see if we got any leaks. We're going to try to get the gas tank cleaned out. And I'm thinking that gas tank, well, let's just say it's going to be a candidate for a seal job, as in you can buy this stuff in a box where you can mix up, and it's kind of like a tank liner. You can pour it in there and slosh it around, and when it seals up, it seals the tank up. This has got a lot more rust in it than I thought. And the bottom side of it, let me see if I can flip it over for you. The bottom side's already been patched. I don't know if you can tell that or not. See all that? It's been patched there. So we're going to save it. Of course, we ain't going to throw it away, but it may be a candidate for a tank liner. We may do a video on that later. I do have a spare tank. I've got several parts for these tractors. This one seems to be in a little better shape, so we're probably going to just slap this one on there for now. And we're going to get the carburetor cleaned up and put it on. And also on this valve cover, it used to have a breather, some sort of a bolt-on breather, and it's missing. So the valve cover is just open to the elements right here. I hope y'all can see that. I know the sun's kind of in a wrong angle for this video, and I'm sorry for that. Just bear with me. But I do have a spare valve cover, so we're probably going to get that put on. So first off, though, we really need to stop everything we're doing and check for spark. We know that it spins over, okay? Now we got to get spark to the spark plugs. So we need to check our coil, see if our coil's functioning. We need to check our points, see if we're getting fire at the points. And then we may just throw a little snort of ether to it just to see if it'll pop off. Make sure we ain't got no problems in the bottom end or anything like that. Then we'll try to get the gas tank put on and carburetor cleaned out. Man, I want to see this thing and hear this thing run. So let's cross our fingers that everything works right. Let me get set up and I'll be right back. Hey King, what are you doing, buddy? This is our new addition. He's going to be like our protector of our animals out in the field. You're getting his belly rubbed. He is a Great Pyrenees. He was born November 1st. Look how big them paws are right now. He's going to be a big old dog. Aren't you, buddy? Let me get back this tractor. All right, so we got our battery hooked up. Before we check spark, I just wanted y'all to hear the starter. So in the last episode, this is what the starter acted like. All right, you seen how it dragged? It was real slow. It wouldn't spin the motor over fast enough. Let's see what this new starter will do. I'm gonna show y'all the fan so you can see how fast or slow it spins. Yeah, that's a lot better. A lot better. I am happy about that. Hey, so we're steering in the right direction, y'all. Alright, so I'm gonna pull the coil wire. And I'm just gonna scratch this the ground right here. Get some of this rust off. And let's just see if we're getting any spark. I'm hoping y'all can see that. Alright, so let me get ready to turn it over. Wow, did y'all see that? That thing was throwing out some spark. So that tells me the coil is good. The points are breaking because it's breaking gap. Wow, that's awesome. Well, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I want to see what this thing will do. Will it pop off? If it's getting spark, it should pop off, right? Now, I know we ain't got a carburetor on it, so we're just going to give it a little snort of ether. Let's just see what happens. I'm anxious to see. Y'all ready? Here we go. Well, take two. Y'all ready? Let me turn the switch on right. Here we go. Y'all, I ain't believing this. That thing just popped off. Wow. Man, that is awesome. That just gives me more encouragement to keep going on this thing, and let's see if we can't get it running longer. That's just, gosh, that's awesome. I hope you can tell my excitement. So it ran. It's not a bust as of yet. So right now I am happy and stoked about this purchase so far. Let's keep going. Man, that's still exciting. So this is the original carburetor that came on it. This is a spare one that I have. It's been cleaned. So we got that as a backup, but let's just tear this one loose and see what happens. So on your big jet, pay attention, see how many rounds that is out. That's one. So about 1.5. We're going to pull this out. Let's look at that looks fairly clean. That's a good thing. A smaller jet here. Let's go in. So that's one. Almost two, like 1 3/4. Let's take that one out. See what it looks like. Now the owners that I got this from said it ain't run in about 5 to 10 years. And looking at a lot of the stuff, I believed all that. But for the wiring to still be working, the starter to activate like that, now we did have to replace that starter. But man, it's actually pretty cool. Let's speed this process up. Be back in a second. Alright, so we got that done. Let's see if we can pop it loose. I'm going to try to save this gasket, but worst case, it don't. And I think I've got a spare one, and if I don't, gasket sets and all ain't that expensive for these. Needle's working. Still has the old brass floats. This is probably original. A little bug in there. Ooh. Can y'all see that? Looks like dirt daubers in there. That's not good. See if we can knock that out. Oh yeah, that's what it is. Well, y'all have seen me clean a carburetor before. Not going to bore y'all, but look inside the bowls. They're fairly clean. I'm not going to bore y'all with this. I'll get this done, I'll be back. Alright, we got the carburetor back on. And of course, it'll all have to come back off whenever this intake comes off. But before we can set our gas tank back on, this valve cover needs to come off, and let's put the other one on. You know, if it does run a while, I don't want it to sling oil out of them vent holes there. I'm going to save this valve cover. Worst case, I can braze them holes up and I can have an extra valve cover. But let's see what's behind door number 1 here. Well, it looks a little grimy, but it ain't ran in a long time either. So let's find our other valve cover and get it put on. So here's our other valve cover. See how it has a vent tube that comes out. Basically it just ventilates your crankcase. So it fit up pretty good. Now we're going to get the gas tank on. We got 4 bolt holes here, 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 and here. It'll set back down, and then we'll have to run our fuel line with a filter. But we're getting closer. Alright, fuel tank's back on. Got our gas line run. I left a lot of slack just in case, you know, I always do that. Looped it around, put a filter on it. I know it's going to be a little rusty in this tank, so I might have to go through a few filters, but we just haphazardly cleaned out the carb. It wasn't too bad, but this is the original. So I'm fixing to put some gas in it, and then we're going to see if we start getting some fuel flow to it. See if she'll bust off and run a little longer. Alright, we got gas flow to the carburetor. It's not leaking as of right now, so either the needle and seat's stuck or it's working. We'll just have to find out. I'm going to set y'all up right here where y'all can kind of see the fan and all that good jolly. Let's see what happens. We're going to put our throttle all the way down. See if it'll throttle up. Runs pretty good. Man, that's awesome. That is awesome. Notice the cap was sitting here rocking on the oil. May not have a good seal. Man, that is so great. Let's just see how easy this crank back up. Ready? Here we go. Pressing the button right now. Wow. Man. That's exciting right there, boys and gals. Man, I'm just happy about that. That is awesome. Well, you know, I want to run it a lot longer, but let's get some water in that radiator and see if it'll hold. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we ain't got no leaks. Let's just find out. All right, radiator topped off with water. Hope y'all can see that. Now let's fire this thing off and see if we got any leaks. And just let it run for a little while. Here we go. Bush hog. See, it's smoking just a little bit, but it's got this old crappy bush hog on it. So if you're unfamiliar with the TO30s, the 20s, your 8 ends, 2 ends, you have to have your PTO engaged to work your 3-point lift. So let's see what all it's burning off up here. It's smoking a little. Turning stuff off. That's all right though. Well, I tried for the past 4 or 5 minutes trying to get this PTO shaft off. Of course, it's been on there a long while. It don't want to budge. So we're just going to do the no and fire it off and see what happens. Make sure our lifts work, and I'll just have to take more time to get this old bush hog off. I'll probably will throw some sheet metal on the top of it and I'll use it. I mean, hey, it came with the tractor. It ain't gonna hurt. So let's see if we can fire it back off. See if we can get the PTO to engage. Make sure I ain't got no animals around or nothing. No doggies. Alright, here we go. Switch on. Clamp. should. Well, that carburetor's not too happy. But look at the oil it's spitting out of the exhaust. So I'm hoping them rings will come around. It's still smoking a little. It's not as bad, but it shot out some oil there. I don't think it is as bad as it was, but it shot out a little bit of oil out of that exhaust. So something to look for. But I'm hoping I can get this carburetor dialed in enough, regardless with that exhaust. I know I'm not supposed to run it like that, because cold air can rush back in there and all that, and bend valves. That's what I've always heard. But I want to drive it a little bit, and then we'll get us an exhaust manifold. But she's coming back around slowly but surely. Well, let's see if she'll crank up and move a little bit. And that's where the carburetor wants to crap out. Oh well. Well, after several whacks on that carburetor, I was able to get it back in the same spot. So, yes, we'll have to do something with that carburetor. I've yet to find any water leaks. That is a good thing. I'm going to probably put that other carburetor I got on here. See if that clears it up a little bit. So there's still a lot more to do to this thing, but man, I'm just tickled that it runs. Can't wait to get a new exhaust manifold on it where it's a lot quieter. And just keep plugging on it. Well, I put the other carburetor on it. It seems to be running a little better. It's not shutting down all the time. I'll have to adjust my governor. It's not wanting to pull all the way back. But that's how low she'll idle. That's pretty good right there. It'll work its way back up. Man, pretty awesome. I like it. It's a lot quieter on this side away from that exhaust. But as of right now, no water leaks. It's cooling. I don't think that oil pressure gauge works. It was working a while ago a little bit, but it's like intermittent. I checked the alternator a while ago. It is not charging. So, she's a work in progress. It'll get a away from that smoke. I just don't know. Man, what this thing needs is to be run. You've heard me say it time and time again. Don't let something sit up. Looks like our carburetor float wants to stick open. I see that. She's dribbling. Yeah, this will need a carb kit. I'll probably put the original one back on it. We'll just turn the fuel flow off. But overall, I am very impressed. I am pleased. I am happy. So, air filter housing, we'll have to come up with us a pipe. We don't have a pipe to go from here to here. We can replace this housing. I actually thought about getting the exhaust manifold that has the triangular piece down here, and then you can buy the turn up where it will come and turn up and run it vertical instead of going down and out. Problem is, you got to have somewhere to park it out from the weather, and or put a butterfly on the top so no rainwater can get down in it. And if I did that, then I would have room just to come in here with a little air filter like you see on a four-wheeler or something. And then I may just do that. I don't know yet. I like to kind of go back, since it's got some of the original stuff, I like to go back original. I looked for my little canister cap on the bottom of this, and I don't have one. So, and of course that battery tray's got to be replaced. I've got a spare one on that old parts tractor out there. That'll have to be redone. But it runs. It moves. I don't know if I showed it in the video, but it does go in reverse too. It goes through all 4 gears and the PTO and lift work. So that's awesome. Radiator's not leaking. Now we're fixing to have some really cold days here. And you know, while I'm still working on this, I'm not going to put any antifreeze in it and waste it. So I'm going to drain that water back out of it so it's not sitting in here when it gets cold here in a couple of days. And I'll keep working on it though. I'm going to go and get me a exhaust manifold ordered. And once we do that, we can run it a little longer. You know, I'm just going to get out here in the field, just run it around. I may even leave that bush hog hooked up and mow with it. Just a little bit. Just to put some run time on it. I'm tickled though. I am happy. This thing runs. So, I think I did pretty good on this marketplace score. What do y'all think? Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Alright, I got to crouch down here out of the wind. It is getting windy all of a sudden. So, between these two tractors, it'll block the wind where I can talk to you a little bit. So I'm ecstatic. I am pleased. I am happy that this thing runs. It's always a good feeling, you know, not knowing if it's going to run, if it's locked up, if it's got something majorly wrong with it, why it was parked, who knows. This one runs. It does smoke a little. I got a feeling it'll come back around though after some run time put on it. So I think we did pretty good on this marketplace buy. So thanks, Garrett. I appreciate it, buddy. Y'all make sure to check out his YouTube channel, Misfit Moto. And man, we're just going to keep plugging along at this little by little. We've got so many projects we got going on. We got more on the way. But I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see y'all in the next video.